Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another competitive guide for Sun and Moon with me, MegaLugia. We will be covering up Pokemon stats, movesets, damage calcs, team options, and more. There is always room for improvement, so if there's anything you want to add, make sure to let me know down below. But most importantly, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. A like would be much appreciated. But without further ado, my friends, let's get into it. So, like I said, today we're going to be covering ORICORIO, or should I say ORICORIOs, because it's kind of like a buy one get three free option, because ladies and gentlemen, we are covering the fire type, the electric type, the ghost type, and the psychic type. That's right, if you're unaware, ORICORIO does have 4 different forms depending on the different nectar that you give it to it in game, and because of that you have 4 different typings as well. So let's jump right into the super effectiveness and the defensiveness as well. So starting off, you do have the first type, which is the electric type, aka the pom-pom style, and with your dual stabs, you are super effective against water and flying, as well as all the types being super effective against grass, bug, and fighting because of the flying type, which all types have. On to the next form, which is ghost flying. You are super effective against ghost, psychic, as well as grass, bug, and fighting, like I mentioned. The fire flying type, aka the Bali form, is super effective against ice, grass, steel, and bug. And the psychic flying type, aka the Bau style, is super effective against poison, fighting, and grass, bug, fighting, again, like I mentioned. However, defensively, it does become a little bit more complicated to try and keep up. There are 3 main weaknesses that almost all of them share, being the rock, ice, and electric. The fire flying, aka the Bali style, is not weak to ice while the rest of them are. And the electric flying type is not weak to electric while the rest of them are. Makes sense? I hope so. So let's get more in depth. Electric flying is weak to rock and ice. Ghost flying is weak to ghost, dark, rock, ice, and electric. Fire flying is weak to water, rock, and electric. And psychic flying is weak to ghost, dark, rock, ice, and electric. Also, because of the flying typing, all the forms are immune to ground. And the ghost flying typing does actually have 3 immunities with ground, fighting, and normal. So as you can see, pretty interesting Pokemon having all these different 4 forms. Honestly, something I would like to see carried over to the next generation, adding more forms. But hey, that's just me, so let's move on to the stats. And now moving on to the stats, we can see that ORICORIO all have the same stats, rocking out with 75 base HP, 70 attack, 70 defense, 98 special attack, 70 special defense, and 93 speed. So definitely nothing too special, but nothing too bad either. Kinda just a Pokemon that is in between and kinda just there. However, with the 93 speed, that is something that we aren't too familiar with in Gen 7, with a lot of Pokemon being really slow, so that is something you can potentially take advantage of. And now moving on to the most interesting part of this Pokemon, aka the ability, which is Dancer. So the Dancer ability is something newly introduced in Gen 7, and no, you won't find ORICORIO in your closest Alola nightclub, but what it does is when another Pokemon uses a dancing move, like Dragon Dance or Swords Dance, a Pokemon with the ability Dancer will immediately use that move as well, without using up its own turn. It will not activate on a move copied by another Pokemon with Dancer as well. So for example, how this actually works is if you're in versus a Volcarona, for example, that Volcarona is most likely faster than you, goes for a Quiver Dance, and right after it's done going for its Quiver Dance, you copy the exact same move, so basically go for Quiver Dance as well, and that does not take up your move slot. You can go for the Quiver Dance and then go for your move right after that as well, as if you hadn't. So really cool and can come into play in certain situations, just shocking your opponent, copying their boost, and proceeding to sweep from there. And now into an overview of these Pokemons. So as I have been saying, it is a very unique ability to pull off, but once you do get it off, it is really cool. But you do have to be in certain situations, like either out predicting your opponent or knowing that they are going to go for a dancing type move. For example, like a Swords Dance on the Golisopod, even Lunar Dance on Cresselia, or if you want to be that guy, a Teeter Dance on a Spinda. But moving on, is more of a great support / passer for your team. Although it can copy all those stat boosts, ORICORIO is primarily a special attacker, and other than Quiver Dance, we don't really have any other special boosting dancing moves. So as much as Swords Dance would be cool to use, it's more likely that you're going to be copying that Swords Dance and then passing it on to one of your physical mons on your team and proceeding to sweep from there. As for its offensive moves, it has access to Revelation Dance, Hurricane, Air Slash, Facade, and U-Turn. Now how Revelation Dance works, that's also a new move exclusive to ORICORIO, and the typing of that move copies the primary typing of the ORICORIO that you're using. So for example, if you're using the Fire Flying type, Revelation Dance becomes Fire type. If you're using the Electric Flying type, the move then becomes Electric, and so on. It is 90 base power, special, and 100% accurate. Onto its support moves, it has Calm Mind, Roost, Swords Dance, Taunt, Baton Pass, Agility, Tailwind, and Quash. So like I said, it is looking like a very much of a support Pokemon, either going for Calm Mind or Swords Dance, or even Agility, and then Baton passing that into someone else on your team. These 4 typings are really powerful offensively, with their dual staves being resisted by very few mons, but defensively they are not the greatest, so they can't really be taken advantage of that in that regard. And like I said, these are some of the prediction heavy situations you could face yourself in. Ephemerosa going for Quiver Dance, Fiery Dance from Volcarona as well as Quiver Dance, Dragon Dance and Lunar Dance from Cresselia. You can also use these mons to take advantage of Z moves, since each form will have a different Z move that they can use and potentially deal a lot of damage to your opponent. And now on to the first potential moveset. So this moveset is going to be Hurricane, U-Turn, Revelation Dance, and either Agility, Taunt, Substitute, or Toxic. It's going to be a timid nature, either holding the Choice Scarf or the Life Orb, rocking the EVs of 80 base HP, max special attack, and 176 speed. So that speed allows you to outspeed a max speed circuitry, but you can choose to go max speed if you want. I just thought this was a good med spark, but you can choose to go with max speed. I just thought outspeeding circuitry would be really cool. As for the item, you can choose to go with a Choice Scarf to become a really nice revenge killer, as well as going for U-turns to gain momentum, and Life Orb is there if you don't want to be as fast, but hit harder and have the ability to switch up your moves, as well as having the option of Agility, Taunt, and Toxic as well. This is just going to be a standard moveset for all the ORICORIO different forms, as all of these moves are kind of a one size fits all, and just basically a generic moveset if you want to see how the ORICORIOs actually test out. But now moving on to the second moveset and being more specific, we are going to be looking at the Fire form, aka the Bali form, rocking the moves Substitute, Calm Mind, Revelation Dance, and either Hurricane or Air Slash. You're going to be going with a Bold Nature, holding the Leftovers, and the EV spread of pretty much max HP, 228 defense, and 32 speed. So that speed allows you to outspeed a max speed Magnezone. And basically how this set is going to work is with those EV spread and those moves, you can set up on a few Pokemon in the tier right now. For example, you can set up on notable grass types like Delmise, Serena, and potentially even Alola Marowak as well, which we will look at more in depth in the damage calcs later on, and even potentially set up on Celesteela as well with a Calm Mind boost. Basically, you can outspeed those slower Pokemon that I mentioned, going for a Substitute. Even better if they don't stay in on a predicted switch out, go for the Substitute and then start setting up Calm Mind to be able to hit them back really hard. Revelation Dance and Hurricane are your main forms of stab, and once they're boosted, you're going to be hitting back really hard. And with the Leftovers and all the residual recovery as well, this will be a really hard mon to take down once you're behind the Substitute and have those boosts. Like I said, mons that you can set up on are Alola Marowak, Celesteela, Serena, and Delmise. And the next set is going to be the Electric Flying, aka the Pom Pom style, with a moveset of Revelation Dance, U-Turn, Hurricane or Agility, and HP Fire or HP Ground. You're going to be going with a Timid Nature, either holding the Life Orb or the Choice Specs, 80 HP, max special attack, and 176 speed. Again, that speed allows you to outspeed a max speed circuitry, but since they are sometimes Choice Scarf, you can choose to go with just max speed just in case. And the item, like I said, is either going to be the Choice Specs or the Life Orb allowing you to switch up moves but losing HP, but Choice Spec is just to allow you to hit as hard as possible. Again, moveset pretty self-explanatory. Revelation Dance for stab, U-Turn if you want some momentum, Hurricane there, or you can go for Air Slash or even Agility if you feel like you just need Revelation Dance on U-Turn on your team. Go for +2 sweep and potentially sweep from there. And HP Fire is there for mons like Ferrothorn and Scizor, but I feel like HP Ground is better to handle mons like Alola Marowak and Magnezone who otherwise wall you. Coming on to the next set, this is going to be the Ghost form, rocking the moves Revelation Dance, U-Turn, Hurricane, and Tailwind. You're going to be going with a Modest Nature, holding the Choice Scarf, max special attack, max speed, and 4 in special defense. So the reason why this set is a lot more offensive with the Modest Nature and holding a Choice Scarf is because Ghost and Flying is very hard to switch into. The only Pokemon that come to mind for me are Pokemon like Bisharp right now, and that is not even in the pre-bank Pokebank meta. So like I said, Ghost and Flying is really hard to switch into, and I wanted to give you a Choice Scarf to make sure you can outspeed a lot of things as a revenge killer, and I really wanted to go Modest because it gives you a lot of 2-hit KOs that you would miss out with Timid. And 93 speed, like I said, is pretty fast with a Choice Scarf, so you can afford to go Modest, but you will not outspeed Pokemon like Tapu Lele, so do keep that in mind. But the moveset, again, pretty self-explanatory. Revelation Dance, U-Turn, and Hurricane, and Tailwind is there just in case, as a last-ditch effort, if you feel ORICORIO has done its job, and you go for a Tailwind, and then the rest of your mons can come in and sweep from there. And the last set is going to be for the Psychic form, with the moves Baton Pass, Roost or U-Turn, Swords Dance or Agility, and Taunt, with the Bold Nature holding either Leftovers or the Focus Sash, with an EV spread of pretty much max defense, max speed, and 4 special defense. So how this moveset actually works is because I felt like Psychic Flying wasn't a very good offensive typing. Psychic and Flying is very much resisted by Steel types, for example Metagrosses, Magnezones, and Celesteela, and those Pokemon seem to be running around a lot right now. not to mention the psychic immunity that dark types have as well. So I felt like offensively this set wouldn't be very good, which is why I opted for more of a defensive / passer set. As you can see, how this set is going to work is you're either going to go for a Swords Dance or Agility, or even both, and baton pass that into another Pokemon on your team that can do really well. For example, a Mega Metagross or a Mamoswine, a +2/+2 on either of those Pokemon will actually wreck through your opponent's team. And the other moves are Roost, just to be able to stick around longer and go for more boosts, or U-turn if you don't feel like it's time to set up yet and then gain some momentum, and Taunt is there just to prevent other slower Pokemon from taunting you or statusing you. You can go for the leftovers if you want that guaranteed residual recovery each turn, but Focus Sash is there if you feel like you're in a sticky situation and get that guaranteed setup off. But again, it is up to you and your playstyle and the rest of your team. And now moving on to some quick damage calcs. So Life Orb with a Timid nature and going with the move Hurricane, you do 80% minimum versus Mamoswine, you 2-hit KO a bulky Mega Scizor, 2-hit KO defensive Mandibuzz, 2-hit KO defensive Toxapex, and 2-hit KO Spadef, Alola Marowak, and you OHKO Kartana as well, even though it is neutral. Moving on next with the Revelation Dance holding a Life Orb, depending on the different form that you're in. The Fire form 2-hit KOs max specially defensive Celesteela, the Electric form 2-hit KOs max specially defensive Toxapex, the Ghost form OHKOs max HP Mimikyu after Stealth Rocks, and the Psychic form does 70% minimum versus a Tapu Koko. And now more specifically looking at that Fire form defensive spread that I was talking about, Kartana's Adamant Choice Scarf Smart Strike does 24% max, meaning it does not break your substitute, a Choice Banded Adamant Serena's Play Rough does 23% max, and a defensive Alola Marowak Shadowbone only does 23% max as well, so no substitute is broken. And now for some team options. So really, I couldn't do team options for each form specifically, but these teammates do work relatively well in terms of synergy. So first off, you can go with Magearna, who does resist Rock, which all your Pokemon are weak to, and can gain you some nice momentum with Volt Switch and U-turn support. Next up, you can have Mega Sharpedo, which is just really fast, gain you some speed and protect, and just plow through your opponent's team once the Oricorios have dealt some chip damage. Mamoswine is there to give you an electric immunity, as well as set up some Stealth Rocks, which the Oricorios can very much appreciate, and Komala is there as a ghost immunity, as well as having support like Rapid Spin and Wish support as well, and Tapu Bulu just because I love Tapu Bulu. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a competitive guide on all the ORICORIO forms. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure to smash a like if you did, I would really much appreciate it. And until next time, it's been your boy MegaLugia here checking out. Peace.